Okay, hi guys. I'm Chris Ignato and you're watching my YouTube channel, so thanks a lot for that. Now, this video might get on your nerves a little bit, but all I want to say is I know that you hear all the time how wildlife is disappearing. You know, the environment's disappearing, plants are disappearing and everything like that. Well, that's a big deal. And it really is happening. You know, I've grown up looking at nature all the time in many different places, and I've seen a lot of changes over the years. A lot of changes, a lot of stuff I've noticed, a lot of stuff I wrote down in my notebooks, you know. And looking back at these notebooks and journals, you can see things happening, right? And a lot of people around me are making the same observations. So with different species and, you know, members of wildlife disappearing and stuff like that, you know, a lot of us are kind of desensitized to it because we hear it all the time. Some of us, it makes us feel guilty. Some people, they feel like they're being nagged and stuff like that. But it does affect us, and in some ways it'll affect us directly if it hasn't already. You know, you noticed that the brown bats took a major hit with the white nose fungus. So they're disappearing, and that's in part due to us, and in some ways due to nature. But it's spread through humans also. People doing spelunking and people like myself who are naturalists, right? Gets on our clothes, we go into a cave, we can spread it. You know that the frogs are disappearing. Have you noticed a ton of mosquitoes around? There's mosquitoes spreading diseases and stuff. It's happened in the city where malaria was spotted. Okay, there's a lot of different illnesses spreading just from that alone. A lot of bees are disappearing. So bees are a major pollinator, not the biggest by any stretch, believe it or not, but they're a big pollinator. In some parts of the world, bees, every third bite of food comes from bees, basically. Okay, if you do the research on that, you'll see what I mean. Just those two things alone are affecting us, aren't they? All these different changes, all these different species disappearing, that's a bad thing. Look what happens back during the witch trials, or even before that. Take a look back when the plague was spreading throughout Europe and other places. A lot of people were afraid of cats. They thought they were witches' familiars and things like that, so they killed off a lot of cats. And then you have mice and rats all over the place, spreading disease. You see what happens if you just tinker with one facet of the ecosystem. It has great effects everywhere else, doesn't it? The same thing with our body. If somebody's on life support and you just alter one level of something, it throws everything out of whack. If their respiratory's not right or their kidneys aren't filtering correctly, look at all the effects it has on the rest of the body. You have to have everything just right or else the person dies. That's what happens in nature. We're a part of nature. We're still part of nature. These buildings we build and stuff, yeah, they're man-made, they're synthetic, but termites build termite mounds. What's so different about that? So we need to be more responsible, you know? In places where there were a lot of brown recluses, sometimes what happened is they got so aggressive and ate off everything that the whole population would just die out, would starve to death. Okay? We got to think about that. We're heading towards difficult times as it is, because the population, the Earth's population is too great. There's too many people here really for things to be sustainable, right? And to find shelter and all this other kind of stuff for everybody, and food and clean water. So we must be more responsible. We have to be careful. For those of you who don't believe that these things are a threat or that they're affected by humans, you know, that's debatable as to how much of an effect we have on it. That's not what this video is about. That's regardless. What is important is the fact that we should be responsible now for what we can be responsible for. We got to act with caution, you know, and tread responsibly, because what we have now, we have to make it last. There's so many things happening. So let's be careful. I hope you guys appreciate this video, and I hope perhaps you notice some of the things I'm talking about. Not that that's a good thing, but I'm not alone here. You know, anyone else that's grown up with nature, such as myself, they all agree. It's dangerous. It really does have a great big effect on everything, including us. Okay? We will suffer. Things disappear, new things come back. This is one of those times in history where the species being affected, one of them are humans. And we can do something about it, right? First time in history where you could do something about it. Let's do something about it, right? Okay. Thanks, guys. See you later.